Okay, but I still don't agree with it. I don't go along with it. All that's contract law. Everything we do is contract law. And I'll get into that later. Right now, I'm trying to stay on the birth certificate. Is there so much to this? It's so sinister. It's so evil. Uh, it is so dark. That's why Jesus has to come back and set this all straight. Is because what our founding fathers, when they come from Europe to this country for their religious freedoms and our other freedoms, when they come here and they bled and died and give their fortunes for a constitutional republic, others after them squandered it. Okay, and the liars and thieves and con artists, they took it from us before we was ever born. So that's why Christ has to come back to set this stuff straight. Even God has a structure of government, and that's going to remain in heaven when heaven descends down on this earth. I hate to go all religious on you and Old Testament on you and things like that, but from the foundation, God intended us to be sovereign. So it is so corrupt, and we may get little bits and pieces of it back, but don't hold your breath. We just was allowed to start carrying guns, but we got to have a permit from the king. You got the Second Amendment right. Okay, they're giving you the right to have a gun in your home. Okay, but you don't have the right to bear arms, to carry them arms without a permit from the king. So don't tell me we're a constitutional republic. Let's move on. FBI, they're lying, man, on these sovereign people. They're turned a sovereign into something that it's not. They made it evil. They're even training our police departments. Okay, when you hear the word sovereign, man, they've got guns, they're going to kill you, they're going to riot, they're going to blah, 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 they're anti-government. Just like any other sect of people, you've got that small remnant that are like that, okay? But the FBI, our federal government, see, these people slaves too. So they're slaves too, but they have the power. See, they're on the power end of this thing. Okay, so it doesn't matter to them. They don't feel like slaves. Okay, they feel like they got the power, and you see that in Waco, you see that in Ruby Ridge, you see that with the murder of Lavoy Finicum. Okay, and what they're doing to the BLM's doing to Bureau of Land Management's doing to the ranchers out west. Okay, they're still slaves of the same system. Okay. But you see what they're doing to the people because they have the power and the authority to do it. So they're going to put their boot on the necks of anybody they can. But, like I say, they're still slaves. Folks, if a police officer pulls you over, you don't know him, he don't know you. If you got a gun on you, tell him. Be polite to the guy. You see all kinds of videos, Don't be a jerk to that cop. Not every cop that puts that uniform on morphs into heartless, brainless machine for the federal government or for the city or local police department. Okay, you got bad people everywhere, bad people in every profession. So, just out of being a human being, they do deserve respect. You deserve respect. So, I don't encourage you to. Now, you do what you want. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I'm trying to do this through the legislative process, through the ballot box. I'm trying to change hearts and minds here, like Bush said they tried to do over there in the Middle East. But I want to change the hearts and minds here and do it because I don't have time to deal with this crap. Okay, I want to live as much of my life as I can. And I don't want to spend it in the courthouse, and I don't want to spend it in jail. I don't want to continuously get my car out of hock. Okay, and that's another thing. We'll get into all the license plates, titles, and things like that, driver's license, which I'm against all of that, okay? But I have all that, but it's under duress. It's under threat. It's actually, it's might well be the mafia. Okay, let's move on. Back to the birth certificate. So, be nice to your local police officers. Folks, they're not all alike. And a lot of them are really good guys. I got a really good friend of mine that's a police officer in a town adjacent to ours, and he is a great guy. And he told me himself, he said, Les, he said, man, I hate to write traffic tickets. He said, I know that's them people's hard-earned money. And he said, I'll only write a traffic ticket in an extreme case. He said, that's them people's hard-earned money, and I don't want to take them people's money. I have to respect that. I mean, that guy stands tall in my eyes as a police officer. Real good friend of mine. I love him like a brother. He's a fabulous. All the police officers ought to look at him as an example. Now, back to the birth certificate. See, that's why I can't go live with this stuff. I ramble so much, and I don't want to do an hour video. It normally winds up being an hour or so, and then I split it up, part one, part two, because I just ramble so much. The birth certificate. Hold on now. There's a crash in there. And see, I don't have a stable system here, folks, so you got to bear with me. All right, we got a chair and a cardboard box in the chair, and we got a piece of flimsy paper because I didn't want to pay another $3 for one of these hard whiteboards. I bought me a big whiteboard you can wipe stuff off with, but too much information. Use it for short stuff. The birth certificate. Now we're going to do a little recap here. In 1871, Ulysses S. Grant, our 18th president, he signed the District of Columbia Act. That was only the beginning, folks. My back scratcher. Man, I got one of them everywhere I go. Except the tree stand. I got to put one of these hanging on my tree stand. Don't leave home without one. Got one in my van, one in my bedroom, one in my computer desk, one on my table beside my chair. Man, I love a back scratcher. Okay. That was only the beginning, folks. In 1913, okay, it really started here. Woodrow Wilson kept the ball rolling. It all started because they panicked because we was in debt. Okay, Revolutionary War, War of 1812, we had the Civil War. We owed a lot of countries a lot of money and owed a lot of people a lot of money. Okay, a lot of people invested their own personal fortunes into the country at that time. So these people freaked out. Instead of doing the godly thing, instead of doing what was right and figuring this out and paying it back a little at a time, no, they freaked out. And here we go. Grant signed this District of Columbia Act in 1871. That got the ball rolling for where we're at today, and it ain't stopped rolling. Woodrow Wilson signed it. Grant signed the Columbia Act, District of Columbia Act. 1913, Woodrow Wilson signed the Federal Reserve Act. That created a central banking system, okay, that's still live and kicking today. That's a group of 12 world bankers, and they call it the Federal Reserve. That the United States Corporation borrows money and now includes Communist China. You know, a lot of our debt, I don't know exactly how much, a large portion, maybe half, maybe a little more, okay. We're in debt to Communist China, folks. we've been trying to wipe communists off the planet from the get-go, okay? But we borrowing money from communist China. I mean, we've got so, gosh, I don't know what the word is for it. Our politicians, they're crooks, they're liars, they're thieves for the most part. And they're globalists. Most of our people in government today is one world government. They're globalists. And people like us, okay, us 1776 patriots, we're fighting against all this stuff. All right? We're trying to overturn some of this stuff. It's not about abolishing the government. It's about trying to restore a responsible government. Something that works for us, not against us. Okay? We can't get out of bed. We wake up in the morning with a tax on our head. We die with a tax on our head. But anyway, so Woodrow Wilson signed this, and there's a quote. Let me see if I can find that real quick. If I can't, that's okay. Now, I've done my research on this, and some people say it was excerpts from Woodrow Wilson's speech, and some people say he never did say it. Woodrow Wilson Library, the people there say, no, he didn't say that. They took segments of his different speeches and put them together and created this. Well, if they work for Woodrow Wilson Library, they're Democrats. Okay, I don't have any confidence in them from the get-go. If he said this, they would lie about it. And, but this ain't it. Let me see, folks. I got all kinds of stuff here. What did I do with that quote? Bear with me, children. And, alright, here it is. In 1919, this was attributed to Woodrow Wilson. And now, you can research it for yourself, take it for what it's worth. I won't read the whole thing maybe, but history says that this is a quote from Woodrow Wilson. I am a most unhappy man. I have unwillingly ruined my country. A great industrial nation is controlled by its system of credit. Our system of credit is concentrated. The growth of a nation thereof and all our activities are in the hands of a few men. And that's no lie. That's the truth. And it goes on, blah, blah, blah. But, I know the Democrat Party today is definitely not the Democrat Party of yesterday. Okay, folks, but I'm going to tell you something. Let's see here. Back to this. 1933, the ball's still rolling. 1933, President Roosevelt signed the Emergency Banking Act. All right? This right here, the Emergency Banking Act, okay, depression's going on, the banking system's collapsed, and he done this to try to restore faith in the bank, into this. Tried to restore faith back in the bank. This is when people was jumping out of windows. People had their money in the banks, it was gone. The system had collapsed. And that's what's going to happen again. It's going to happen again, folks. What, 21 trillion in debt?